Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to a new edition of the Daily Debate. In tonight's show, we will be following up on the inauguration of the Government Data and Cloud Computing Center that was inaugurated last week, and we'll be looking at how this can empower the Egyptian youth with their startups, with their entrepreneurship, and how this can transform the economy, the Egyptian economy as a whole, obviously starting with the youth. But before we start doing that, let's check out a couple of the stories making the news today. And we'll start off with Egypt warning on Tuesday that Israel's operation in Gaza's Rafah city threatens the ceasefire efforts shortly after the Israeli military took control of the vital Rafah border crossing between the Palestinian enclave and Egypt. In a statement, the Foreign Ministry called on the Israeli side to practice maximum self-restraint. Egypt also called on the concerned international parties to interfere, practice the needed pressures, and pave the way in front of diplomatic efforts to achieve the aimed targets. Cairo is hosting delegations from Qatar, the United States, and the Palestinian group Hamas. Mediators struggled to secure a comprehensive ceasefire agreement between Israel and Hamas as the conflict entered its 8th month. And Parliament Speaker Councillor Hanafi Gebeli said the Parliament supports and backs the solid steps taken by President Sisi to preserve the legitimate rights of the Palestinian people. Gebeli said all concerned parties, especially the Israeli government, shoulder full responsibility for any action that would lead to a dangerous escalation of the situation in Gaza or to hindering the path of negotiations over a peaceful solution to end the bloodshed. He called on the Israeli MPs to adopt a path of dialogue to settle differences in order to reach a peaceful and just solution to the Palestinian cause. These were a couple of the stories making the news today, and obviously we'll be following up all the developments taking place regarding the Gaza conflict. But now let's turn our attention and focus on tonight's topic. Let's check out this report regarding Egypt launching the first Government Data and Cloud Computing Center, and we'll be right back.
President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi inaugurated the country's first government data and cloud computing center last week, the very thing that emphasizes the country's commitment to significant advancements in information technology. The new data hub will serve as the central repository for all ministry data, fortified against cyber threats and unauthorized access. The state spent billions of dollars in order to prepare an integrated infrastructure. Government Data and Cloud Computing Center's launch will highlight Egypt's technological progress. The center will drive the integration of artificial intelligence technology across government operations by offering AI and data analysis applications for decision-making at every level. It will also function as a centralized national data and disaster recovery center, ensuring self-management, operational efficiency and privacy for critical projects like smart ports, streamlining import and export processes. In his speech during the inauguration, President Sisi stressed the necessity of strong infrastructure investments, acknowledging the significant costs incurred for the center's establishment, emphasizing its pivotal role in propelling Egypt towards comprehensive modernization in an ever-evolving global landscape. During his speech, the President also stressed Egypt must benefit from its strategic location, particularly as around 90% of the world's submarine cables pass through Egypt, making it a major hub for data transmission and communications, underscoring that Egypt is second to the US in terms of the number of submarine cables crossing the country. The head of state also emphasized the importance of preparing an integrated infrastructure to preserve Egypt's status as a major hub for transferring data between the East and the West. Highlighting Egypt's strategic position as a key data transfer hub, President Sisi underscored the importance of localizing data storage within the country, which is a significant shift from past reliance on costly foreign storage solutions. Sisi emphasized the need to prepare the workforce for the digital age, urging families to encourage high school students to pursue careers in communications and information technology, shedding light on the various opportunities in technological fields, stressing the importance of meeting the growing demand for skilled professionals in the digital sector.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, and now we're joined over the phone by Dr. Khaled Youssef, the Deputy of the Faculty of Navigation and Space at Beni Suef University. Dr. Youssef, good evening, sir.
Good evening. It's my pleasure being joined you.
Dr. Youssef, now, we spoke last week about the inauguration of the Government Data and Cloud Computing Center, but we want to focus tonight on a couple of issues, one of which is how this will affect and empower the Egyptian youth within their businesses and their careers, but also about the role of artificial intelligence in the center. Now, how will, or what sort of role will artificial intelligence play in terms of enhancing the digital activities and transactions by companies, multinationals, and also the youth and entrepreneurs?
Yeah, well, actually the two questions is more or less related to each other, because when we talk about the artificial intelligence and the impact of this modernization strategy and the investment in this infrastructure, which is accelerating and enabling a booming revolution in the artificial intelligence applications, either within the country or in the export of these technologies to the external world. So when we talk about the acceleration of the artificial intelligence is through the availing of the enough resources, because the artificial intelligence needs a huge amount of computing resources and storage resources as well in terms of digital technologies. And to be able to train a model or to make a good AI model, artificial intelligence model, this means that the programmer of the AI should invest a lot of money to be able to secure such resources, so he can build reliable models that can be used either locally or internationally. Mm-hmm. For this, we have today this type of infrastructure, which is the big data centers that enable not the selling, but enable the subscription, means the renting of these computing resources to the developer, the individual developer, not only the companies. And this means that he can build easily this model. You can imagine that even in the schools and the universities, I have today a lot of graduates and a lot of graduation projects that are making use of this and building a very reliable artificial intelligence model, which is very competitive with the models that is being developed in other developed countries like the States and UK. Mm-hmm. So this means that we are now accelerating and enabling our youth to be engaged into this world on a consistent and competitive way in the products that they are providing to their local markets and to the international markets.
Mm-hmm. Dr. Youssef, one of the tasks that AI performs is actually predicting certain outcomes given the data and the analysis of the data. Now, what is the margin of error that AI provides or has compared, I mean, does the margin of error in Egypt for the AI in Egypt differ from other AI systems abroad, or is it a universal sort of margin of error?
The very important, Beller, is the security of the data. Means to have a good and reliable AI model, I should have a big set of data. And to expose this data, it's very difficult in terms of security and in terms of aspects of maintaining and that stuff. So the competitive edge and the key pillar that we have today, that we have a big sets of data that we can be exposed to the internal communities to make use of without utilizing it, or without interpreting it, or without getting it on top of their systems or PCs or whatsoever. Mm-hmm. So from my perspective, I see that this is very important edge that is being given by the local supply of such capabilities if we compare it with the international supply that we have today. We cannot find these big sets of data, and if we manage to find it, it's very difficult to consume the computing power that we have here on this type of data sets. Mm-hmm. We give the synergy of the two capabilities, the presence of the big data sets, in addition to the availability of the computing resources, plus the security aspect of the data, which is the most vital aspect in this story.
Mm-hmm. Dr. Yusuf, now operating AI systems goes both ways. I mean, in the cloud and computing center, people will need to operate and work on the AI system, and at the same time, entrepreneurs or IT departments in different companies and multinationals will have to deal with AI. But on a scale from 1 to 10, how qualified or skilled or AI experienced people are people with dealing with a relatively new system?
Yeah, we can score it as 9 over 10. Because I am sure that we have a very, very competitive capabilities and skills, mm-hmm. and we have very good caliber that is being used today and utilized by the external world, and now we are giving them the chance to be utilized from the local perspective, and this means that we can deliver a lot if we have these capabilities on board. So if we score it in a fair way, I think we can give the story from 8 to 9 on the average, to over 10. Mm-hmm.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was Dr. Khalid Yusuf, the Deputy of the Faculty of Navigation and Space at Beni Suef University. Thank you very much, sir, for joining us. Ladies and gentlemen, let's check out this report regarding the benefits of cloud computing for the Egyptian youth, and we'll be right back.
In Egypt, the adoption of cloud computing technology is not merely a technological shift, but a gateway to empowerment for the youth. Cloud computing offers several benefits that can revolutionize the way Egyptian youth learn, work, and innovate. Youth have a special concern for cloud computing technology. Wide popularity of cloud computing within youth groups is because it is a centralized online server application, providing space to keep all types of documents and information. Cloud computing provides access to a vast array of educational resources, regardless of geographical constraints. With cloud computing, Egyptian youth can access online courses, educational materials, and collaborative tools. In the past, institutions needed a lot of storage space for printed copies of books and other materials, spending thousands every year on paper and toner. Students would also purchase multiple books and hard drives for personal storage. However, cloud computing is cost-effective for the youth and their education, allowing everyone to store textbooks, essays, videos, and all kinds of data online. The only equipment everyone needs is a device that has internet connectivity. Therefore, this technology is also eco-friendly. Moreover, cloud computing facilitates remote work opportunities, enabling Egyptian youth to participate in the global economy without the need for physical relocation. This flexibility opens up avenues for freelancing, remote employment, and entrepreneurship, fostering economic growth. Cloud-based tools and platforms empower Egyptian youth to innovate and develop solutions to global challenges. By leveraging cloud services for software development, data analysis, and artificial intelligence, young innovators can create solutions that address issues such as healthcare, agriculture, and environmental sustainability.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, and we're joined here tonight in the studio by Dr. Batran, the telecommunications and human development foresight expert. Dr. Batran, thank you very much for joining us this evening.
Always a pleasure.
Dr. Batran, we are talking about the inauguration of the Government Data and Cloud Computing Center, which is considered a leap in the information communication technology sector. It will help businesses, it will help companies, banking sectors, different sectors all around Egypt, and also it will enhance the Egyptian youth in their endeavors, in their startups, in their businesses. How can having a cloud computing center with all the information and all the technological services that it provides help enhance the performance of Egyptian youth? And a lot of them might not be experienced in the commercial or industrial or business sectors in Egypt, especially if they've just recently graduated as well.
I loved what you mentioned, or I loved when you said it's a leap. What's happening in Egypt at that level, particularly if we're talking about cloud computing and data centers, is a leap. It's a leap because of several things. Egypt has a strategy for digital transformation, and you cannot have safe, secure digital transformation, particularly concerning government and of course business. But I'm here talking about government because I want to link it to national security. Without having your own country data centers that is backed up also by other data centers placed strategically within the country to make sure that there is always a backup. So, for example, how can we make sure that we don't have a cyber attack on our national grid of electricity, of water, of a government, any government service?
Yes.
So that is why, and infrastructure services given out to the population of Egypt. So this is a guarantee. This is a very important step to maintain the security of Egypt and to enhance services at the same time and to push forward the digital transformation. So this is from a more general, let's say, infrastructure point of view. So it is an infrastructure, and it also helps to guard infrastructures. So, and you mentioned the word foresight in my title, so it's a foresight step. You're looking at the future from the point of view cybersecurity, from the point of view enabling tool or enabling infrastructure. So this is very important. Foresight does not stop there. Foresight also is there in terms of employability. This has created a chance, this has created a new fields for employability of labor, a labor attracting field for employment for Egyptian youth. So what is there for the Egyptian youth of the future to do? Of course, we are talking medicine, but we are talking many fields. But data and data management and cybersecurity, these are all potential, and coding and programming are all tools, are all métiers, are all jobs of the future that are there open for Egyptian young people that we can train from today for tomorrow. So it's again a leap. It's like when we were doing infrastructure in terms of construction, for example, construction was very attractive to the young people of Egypt 10 years ago and 5 years ago, to engineers, laborers, the plumbers. It attracted it created 5 million jobs for so many years. It started off with 1.5 million jobs, all the way to 5 million jobs, and continued to attract that much money. And then our growth towards Africa within the infrastructure, normal physical infrastructure, maintains the jobs of those 5 million people and their families. When you're talking future, again, we need as a country to create 1 million jobs every year. And data centers and data related industries attract and create also a wealth of jobs. So this is very important. So as an Egyptian expert of foresight, like you mentioned, as an Egyptian family, if you have children in your family, you have to look into what is the best thing, best befitting my daughter or my son to do in the future.
Yes.
And this has to be a countrywide awareness campaign for Egyptian families.
Yes.
But this is also very important. You wanted to say
yes.
something.
Well, Dr. Batrani, I mean, you've mentioned employability. Now, it seems that a lot of the youth, and not necessarily the youth, people have their academic studies in one field, and then at some point in their careers, they decide to change their careers. So if someone studied engineering, they can actually start working as a chef or anything of the sort. And sometimes people do that because they're following different passions, which is encouraged, but at the same time it's because they don't see a clear path or an opportunity that would satisfy their eagerness or that would fulfill the studies, the academic studies and the degrees they have actually achieved, and their achievements and recognition.
I'm getting where you're... I will tell you something. Mm-hmm. The change because of technology, in everything surrounding our lives as people on this planet, are so great. They are happening in leaps and bounds, and they are really intrinsic changes that are taking us to a place, taking the world to a place that we are not familiar with. Mm-hmm. So if we used to change, like you say, jobs, after they finish, they work for 2, 3, 5, 10 years and then they shift. Now the shifts maximum from 2 to 5 years that are going to be repeated changes, disruptive changes within the labor market. And this is because of AI, among technological leaps, among other things. It will impact everything in life. So what we need to do today for our youth, for our people in schools and universities, to equip them to be constantly adaptive to change, to equip them to constantly use the technology, again, and data centers such as these, to be able to always train themselves and develop themselves when they need. Mm-hmm. So I am a teacher and I need to learn about new teaching tools of the new era, or how to best equip young children if I am a preschool teacher or nursery teacher, a teacher of any level. So I have to have the ability and I have to have the adaptability to look into and get a course and equip me for 2, 3, 4, 5 years to come. Mm-hmm. And it will be a continuous, like a continuous learning experience for the children, for the youth and, let's say, employees of the future. Mm-hmm. They are not going to be like, I don't want to say us, but like generations before them. They were in one job, and if they did not want to look into books again, they forget about books altogether. Mm-hmm. Now they cannot forget about science. I don't want to say books because they're going to be e-books and e-learning, and everything is going to be cyber or digitally directed. But again, it's going to be a constant state of education and training all the time. So again, families have to be aware that they need to, again, be ready to be constantly developing, mm-hmm. For their youth and their children to be constantly. So they need to instill in them the requirements, the traits, and the responsibility. You are responsible for yourself constantly. I will teach you for the first 18 years of your life, mm-hmm. for the first 22 years of your life. And after that, you are responsible and you are required and you will have to be constantly developing all the time. Mm-hmm. And this will be your own personal responsibility. Yes. At our times, nobody told us this. They have to know this now.
Dr. Batran, if we are talking about all of these things that would help shape and strengthen and enhance the Egyptian economy, do you feel that such a government data and cloud computing center, can can it constitute some sort of a guideline for even strategies and policies that would be followed by different ministries, instead of just following a certain minister's vision and they keep changing the ministers? So this would constitute some sort of a guideline that would be a recommendation for a certain ministry or a certain minister to follow.
It's not only the guideline. I want to emphasize that the presence of a data center and the ability to store data, small data and big data, is immense, has an immense impact on government management, on business, on everything in our country and in all the world. So what I mean to say is that data, we have to really stop there and say data is like the gold standard or the gold of the future, the oil of the future. If when you had oil, you are a rich country. When you had gold mines, you're a rich country. When you have data and data centers containing the data, of course, you are a rich country. So this is a power of the future. So you have the data, you have the ability to process, to study the data. As data sciences, you can make decisions related to yourself, your national security, your youth, your businesses, your government, your strategies as a country in general. So the wealth that this is an infrastructure for the Egyptian wealth of today, the future, and even centers for the wealth of the past. When you store it in the right way and you process it in the right way with a huge processing power that's again always backed up, does not only aid decision making, but it aids all related strategic decisions and directives of the country in all sectors throughout the coming period of time. So it's extremely important.
Dr. Batran, now we understand what the youth and the entrepreneurs, how can they benefit from such a center, also government institutions and ministries.
The entrepreneurs, it's a state of mind. You can use the data center to create platforms, businesses, ideas, manage ideas, tools, create tools to help yourself and segments such as yourself, or to help address needs, available needs of today and possible needs created because of this new era of technology and cyber, if you want to call it a cyber era of our lives. So we need new businesses. 10, 20, 30, 50 years ago, I needed paper because paper was a very important business idea. I have a factory for paper. I have a factory for ink. I have a factory for printers. See, all of this related to paper. I have a factory for pens. I have a factory for pencils. I have a factory for sharpeners. And I have a factory for electronic sharpeners. So all of this was businesses and staples and staplers and so on. And the list goes on. Simply because I have a piece of paper that's important in all sorts of businesses, studies, academia and everything. Now it's technology, data and data centers of the future. This will create business opportunities and needs across the spectrum. And this is a chance for small businesses to be created, and it's a chance for conglomerates to develop themselves and to innovate and to maintain their positioning in markets, local or regional or international. So it's a chance of, it's an ability, it's a new layer of development of humanity that will create wealth across all sectors of companies and segments of population.
Talking about the segments of population, how can or will the man on the street and housewives, can they benefit from such a center, and if they can, how so?
The housewife, she's not a housewife. The housewife is the mother of the family. So the mother, if you create a platform that would help her children, her family starting from her husband, her father, brothers, and her family, children, and the future of her children, so you are helping her. And then if you are helping, if you're creating centers that would assist in the decision-making processes and processes of the country across all sectors, in issues related directly to a female in the country and indirectly to citizens in Egypt. It will affect all mothers and all family entities in Egypt. For me, I look at the decent life of Egyptians. So the Decent Life initiative is not, for me now, it's not about the development of rural Egypt. It's the development and the enhancement of the life of each and every Egyptian citizens within the borders of Egypt and outside the borders of Egypt. So because outside, if you're a young man studying in the US or in China, you can process your documents and your papers and your visas and your ID cards and take it from one country to another or one city to another city via a platform, a governmental platform that is ready for you, that helps you keep the relationship with your country, that helps you with your voting rights within your country. So technology, it really enhances the decent life of any human being living, and even if you're an expat living in Egypt, you're not Egyptian. It's helping expats get into Egypt. It's helping them create their permits and their work permits. So it's really enhancing the life of any human being within the borders related to Egypt, within and without and outside the borders of Egypt.
Yes. Dr. Batran, now, you've mentioned that launching such a government data and cloud computing center is really the working on the technological infrastructure of the country. Now, we are still in the digitalization and the digital transformation process that Egypt has been going through over the past few years. Now, how far are we from being over and done with the digital transformation process and really maximizing and making the full use of the full potential of such a center?
Again, you're never done with digital. When it's digital, it's never a done deal.
Yes.
It's an ongoing process. And I want to give you even a different slant of things. I don't want to politicize the conversation, but even the partners with which you work, the countries that are involved within Egypt, the international expertise that have been used and that you will continue to use or enlist their help for future help. The countries are the strategic partners of Egypt. So it doesn't necessarily has to be. If you look deep into things, it's not only Western technology. There is a huge portion of Eastern technologies as well. So the fact that Egypt is it's strategic, peace-loving, balancing power, if you will, how does it balance relationship with its strategic partners worldwide? You can see all of this within the data centers. And as you know, it's not one data center. It is the military data center. And people have to know also, all of the data centers are bulletproof. They are structured and built in a way to safeguard Egyptians and their future from a business, economic, and military perspective. So it's all about security, it's all about strategic international partnerships, it's all about looking into the future, creating jobs. So it's really a new leap for Egypt into the future.
What would you say are the main concerns or challenges of having, you've mentioned that it is also very much a matter of national security. What are the main challenges or concerns or fears or something that we should be mindful of in dealing and establishing and operating and encouraging people to deal and operate and engage within a cloud computing center?
Just off the top of my head, most important out there, cybersecurity. Cybersecurity from for the country is how to safeguard its people, and cybersecurity for the people of Egypt is, I really encourage all young people who have the minds and to start thinking, can I create a company for shields and cybersecurity companies, with Egyptian technology and brain power? Can I be a cybersecurity expert? Can I be one of the, let's say, cyber guards of Egypt and its infrastructure? Can I help protect my country? Can I help protect it from a national, from a governmental point of view and from a business point of view? So all companies, even the Maspiro, the television, the national television of Egypt, needs a cybersecurity expert now. So the most important thing there to look at is how can we maintain the security of such data centers, and how can we take this as a leap forward to enhance the security sector in general, the cybersecurity sector in general of Egypt, for our youth, so within our labor sector, and within our government entities and institutions, and from there to definitely on a state level and security level and military level security, cyber security things. So it's really a whole process and a whole cycle of, again, great opportunities. Mothers, like we give our children the soldiers to play with, and the cars and the military cars and tanks to play with growing up on a physical level, if they have problems to solve from a cybersecurity point of view, games that help strategies, mind strategies and goal setting for young children, again, all within a clear set of time and frame and rules of the house and of the mothers directing their children. It's extremely important to give them the sense of you have to be secure within your machine, within the platform within you are in. Wherever you are, you have to think security, freedom, flexibility, but security as well. So security is very important.
Ladies and gentlemen, as Dr. Batran has mentioned, it's really a great leap in terms of technological infrastructure that will help and direct a whole population into a technological way of life, and hopefully more developments will be taking place and many different sectors, and we will be following up on the achievements of many different sectors within that will be making use of the cloud computing center. Unfortunately, that's all the time we have for this edition of the Daily Debate, but before we go, I'd like to thank Dr. Batran, the telecommunications and human development foresight expert. Dr. Batran, always a pleasure having you with us on the show. Thank you very much, Doctor. Ladies and gentlemen, please stay tuned for more coming up on Nile International. I'm Hani Saif. Thanks for joining us.